Hi and welcome to SCW, the wrestling channel here on YouTube.com. Thank you for choosing the channel and choosing the video. Please subscribe right now. Leave any comments in the comment section. Please like and share the video as well. WWE Hell in the Cell is this evening. I have left the predictions as late as possible due to the fact that we only have 4 matches announced, and on Friday we only had 3 matches announced. So it does question whether there is an importance on this actual pay-per-view this evening. Of course, after a big week in wrestling that we've had with the premieres of Raw, Friday Night SmackDown on Fox, we've had NXT go head-to-head with AEW. It does make you wonder if this has been a slight afterthought, even with some matches being planned for Crown Jewel on this week's TV of WWE, instead of building much towards Hell in the Cell. I hope it's not a sign of the times and what will happen in future, where TV is much more important than the pay-per-views themselves, but with the belief that Crown Jewel is being booked this week, or the start of it has been anyway, for 1 or 2 matches, it looks, maybe it's just a one-off with this. But we do have 4 matches announced, and I will go through all of them, with 2 inside Hell in the Cell, and going to kick things off straight with the big one. That's right, the Universal Championship. Seth Rollins is going to be defending the championship against the Fiend Bray Wyatt. To keep this one as brief as possible for you, the Fiend has to win. WWE has put themselves in a corner here, really, in my personal opinion. Looking at the Fiend, he's been booked so strongly, and we've all been so on board with it, with those visualettes, those Firefly Funhouses, all the way building to where we've seen this masked character of the Fiend, to then have a match at SummerSlam where it was an amazing entrance, and I can't wait to see that again this evening. It's only going to be Bray Wyatt's 2nd match under the Fiend gimmick since his return, of course, and this is just after WrestleMania as well, and we are here now in October. The feeling is here, though, that perhaps Bray will have to be used more often, because he, in my opinion, has to become the Universal Champion here, because if not, all this hard work of getting him over goes to waste if he loses to Seth Rollins. For me, even a false finish isn't good enough here. I feel WWE has put themselves into a place where they have to make a new Universal Champion, and I think Bray Wyatt would be very creditable as Universal Champion. I do think this match is probably 6 months too early. We could have gone a bit further with this, but we're here, we're doing it. Bray Wyatt has to win for me. The only thing I'm really concerned about is that we have had disqualifications used in Hell in a Cell, which to me wasn't always a scenario going forward, looking in history, but we have had it twice. We had it last year with Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman in Hell in a Cell, which of course Brock Lesnar ruined that match and was a no contest, and we had one in 1998 on an episode of Raw between Kane and Mankind, which was just before SummerSlam 98, and that was a DQ as well. And that seems to be when someone majorly interferes in the match, but I don't see how that would happen. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I know there was a video online as well of these two having a dark match. Seth Rollins was getting some offense in on Bray, and he managed to make himself disappear, and that was the end of that dark match. For me personally, I don't want to see anything like that. I want to see Bray strong. I want to see him go over. I want to see this match last less than 10 minutes. Next, we will look at the Raw Women's Championship, which will be in Hell in a Cell as well. Becky Lynch against Sasha Banks. Feels like a fitting Hell in a Cell match. Sometimes you have these matches thrown together, arguably like the last match. This one has got a bit of a build behind it, a bit of hatred, and yeah, I think this is arguably probably the biggest women's match right now that WWE probably could put together. So I'm quite a fan of it. I'm looking forward to it. Becky Lynch against Sasha Banks. Becky Lynch has sort of had the upper hand on the last couple of shows, and if you want to keep Sasha Banks towards the top of the women's card, I think that she has to become Raw Women's Champion. I think that this is the right time for it. So I will go for a Sasha Banks victory here, and I think we'll get a new Raw Women's Champion. Remember, Sasha Banks has the history as well of being in Hell in a Cell before as well. She was against Charlotte Flair, I believe, 3 years ago. So she knows what it's like to be there. She's been there before. She did lose last time, but I think this time she will become a winner. And there's another reason why I think Becky Lynch also will lose the Raw Women's Championship as we go on to our next match, which will be the SmackDown Women's Championship. Bayley defending against Charlotte Flair. Now, this has been thrown together very last minute. Bayley did win at the last pay-per-view with a little bit of shenanigans. Of course, she pulled the turnbuckle pad off, and of course that caused a cheating victory over Charlotte. Charlotte did actually make Bayley tap out on the first episode of Fox this week in a tag team match involving the 4 Horsewomen. So it gives those faces that momentum again. But I think Bayley Here, the story is for Bayley eventually to have a match with Becky Lynch. And for me, this is why Bayley will retain the SmackDown Women's Championship, because I believe both will be on the same show in the upcoming WWE draft when that takes place. So I expect Becky Lynch to move over to SmackDown Live at this particular moment. I think one of these women's champions are going to lose their belts this evening. It would be interesting if it was the other way around and Bayley went to Raw to join Sasha Banks. But at this moment, I do believe that Bayley will remain SmackDown Women's Champion. I think they've been building toward Bayley and Becky Lynch underneath the surface for a little while with this Bayley heel turn. So I do think that they eventually will be crossing paths as we're heading towards Survivor Series season. Yeah, for that reason, I'm going to go for Bayley to actually retain over Charlotte Flair. Last but not least, we have Bryan and Roman Reigns against Erick, Rowan and Luke Harper. This still stems from the Erick Rowan attack, of course, trying to take Roman Reigns out for good. Of course, then turning on Bryan. Luke Harper, of course, assisted Erick Rowan at the last pay-per-view to get a victory over Roman Reigns. We're here now, and it feels to me that there could still be a twist in this story. It's very strange because every match, obviously, I'm predicting here seems to be leaning towards the heels, and I do think the heels are going to win again. I think Erick Rowan and Luke Harper will pick up the victory because I'm not convinced Bryan is that innocent. I think he still could be in with this, and he could turn on Roman Reigns this evening, which thus then could build to the Bryan and Roman Reigns program officially starting. So I expect Bryan is still a heel. He's sort of turned face just briefly here for this moment. I think he'll turn on Roman Reigns this evening, and we will continue then with Roman Reigns in a program with all three of the guys, Bryan, Rowan and Harper. For me, it makes sense, and I can see that happening. I do expect there to be a couple of other matches added through the day, but unfortunately, I just couldn't wait to put this video on any longer. Otherwise, it seemed a bit pointless doing so. I do think likely matches, we could see perhaps maybe the Intercontinental Championship, Shinsuke Nakamura maybe against Ali. I don't know, we could have a couple of other matches thrown in there, but I think other matches that probably be thrown in, we could see some faces pick up some victories because I'm very heel heavy on this pay-per-view, and I think there will be some good guys that will get some wins on this pay-per-view somewhere. Those matches just haven't been announced yet. But that's all from me anyway. That's the Hell in a Cell predictions and preview for you there. Hope you have enjoyed it. Let me know your predictions in the comments below right now. Please like, share and subscribe. Near 350 subscribers here on YouTube. Would love to hit that milestone. Don't forget as well, you can check out the podcast, which is available on the channel as well now. This week in wrestling, of course, covering arguably the biggest wrestling week in 18 years there for you. A brand new era, the premiere of Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, of course, SmackDown being on Fox, and the Wednesday Night Wars, the head-to-head NXT against AEW. What did we think of SCW? Check out mine and James's thoughts right now. But that's all from me anyway. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time here on YouTube.com. Enjoy Hell in a Cell.